Alright, so here I have a beaker filled with common household vegetable oil, and I've got a test tube here. I'll just place that in the beaker. So, all I'm going to do is take a little more vegetable oil, pour it in, and watch closely what happens. Very interesting. So, why do you think that this test tube, originally filled with air, now filled with oil, the same oil that's in this beaker, makes this test tube now invisible? Think about it. So, here we have two beakers of liquid. One is filled with water, the other with common household vegetable oil. And today I want us to think a little bit about how we see and how light affects what we are able to see. Right here I have a test tube that's made of the same kind of Pyrex glass as these beakers. And you'll see if I put this test tube in the water, you can see a little bit of a bending of the image of the test tube as it goes from air into water. Now the test tube itself, of course, is not actually bending, but the image may appear bent because of the way that the light bends as it moves through the different material. And I could do the same thing in the oil. The effect's a little bit different because the speed of light in oil is a little bit different, and what we call the index of refraction is a little bit different. So for an interesting effect, I want us to consider what would happen, say, if I took this test tube now while it's in the water and filled it with water. So we'll take a little more water and watch as water enters the test tube. So now we're no longer going from water to glass to air, but water to glass to water. And so it changes a little bit of how we are able to view the test tube in water. But even more interesting, what happens if we try the same thing in the oil? So now I'm going to take this test tube, pour a little oil into it, and watch closely. And so if you look very closely, the test tube is a little bit visible, but the test tube in the oil almost vanishes entirely. So my question for you today is, why is that? Why is it that the test tube filled with oil, submerged in oil, is almost invisible compared to the one in water, which is clearly a lot more visible?